So guys, I'm going to summarize this video and put this part right at the beginning so you don't have to watch the whole video of the test. Graphs are at the very back end of the video, so you could fast forward it to there to see those if you want. But I tested out a couple different electronic throttle values, both more aggressive than the road mode. Problem with the road mode was when I get on it, a lot of times I don't get 100% throttle. Road mode has the throttle getting to 100% at about 91.5% of the throttle being turned, and the rain mode gives you 100% throttle at throttle being fully open, 100% of the turn. So even in road mode, a lot of times when I twist it, I don't get 100%. So I made two different curves for the electronic throttles. I had one that I put in rain mode opening somewhere around 85% to give you 100% throttle. And in road mode, I set that one up to open up at 100% at 75% throttle, so basically like a 3/4 throttle cam in there. And I used the factory curve to keep things nice and smooth. It just ramps up to open up quicker. So I really like the 75%, so I'm going to set that in there. I haven't decided whether rain mode is going to be the old road mode map or the rain mode map. Maybe I might put the rain mode map. That's probably good for if I get stupid enough to go out here in the winter time when the roads might be a little icy. So I might just do the rain mode map, because overall with my more aggressive map there opening at 75%, I still follow the curve of the stock road mode, and so that's very gradual down low, and it doesn't ramp up till later, so that'll work pretty good. The other thing was the fuel mapping. I increased it by 5% up to about 60% throttle and up to about 4,400 RPM, a little over 4,400 RPM. That target for that for cruise is at 14.5. And when you tip in factory wise, you're about 13.9, 13.8, and then it goes back to 14.5. So I richened that area up by 5%. So now when I'm tipping in, I'm getting down an average of 13.2 area, which was my target for it. So that's worked out really well. And just above 60% throttle and just a little higher in the RPM, I increased it by only 2%. Don't want to get too rich. I've got a target of about 13.2 is what I'm looking for. And above that, the factory mapping is very good. In fact, wide open throttle's a little rich. You know, I was factory target, I believe on that was about 12% for the, on the air fuel, 12:1, and that's pretty rich. And even with these straight through pipes, the Motone pipes on here, I was still about 12.3, which is pretty rich. So, the 13.2 is my target. So, but I'm just going to leave that up in the upper end. Really, I'm not looking for that little 0.1% of horsepower or whatnot. 1 horsepower gain at the very top, I'm not going to notice. No one really is. So I'm just going to leave that on the richer side. Like say, rich is safe, lean is mean. So I'm not going to touch the top end. I was just looking at the bottom just to be just a little bit richer. I go run just a hair cooler. So, and then the other thing testing was this Rosa seat. It's very, very low compared to the stock seat. The curve follows the seat bracket. The factory seat sat up higher, up off the back of the seat bracket where this comes down. And it does not have as much curve back here as the factory seat does. So When you get on the throttle, be sure to have a good hold on the bars so you don't slide off the back. But surprisingly, as little padding as it has, especially really nothing back here, but only on a 15-mile ride, I was comfortable. I remember my old Honda RC51, not even 5 miles, and I hurt bad. So far this is comfortable. It sits way lower than the stock one. I'm short, but I really, even with a factory seat, you know, touch the ground really well. But this just looks cool. Sometimes better look cool. So anyways, yeah, that's what I was doing with the testing, and everything looked pretty good. I just gotta try to find a setting for the GoPro so the flickering on the air fuel gauge here, so I can get a good steady, see it on the video steady versus the flickering. I don't have a good setting on it yet. Using my phone, it's steady, and my iPhone shows that it's at 60 frames per second, and previous ride I did it 60 frames per second, and you know, I lost some of it, but I could see a good part of it. But I did this one at 120, which probably should have been better, but I think it's the field of view I was using. I was using the super wide. Maybe I'm going to experiment using a narrower view to clear things up, and we'll see how that goes. But that I just want to do for testing in the future, so I can just keep videoing it, not necessarily to post, but keep videoing for me to just keep looking at to see if I want to make any changes. So thanks for watching. If you do want to watch the rest of the video, thanks for watching that. And as I said, I show my throttle graphs for the electronic throttle at the end of the video, and I also show the changes I made for the air fuel. Anyways, hope you enjoy the video. Hey everyone, well, this is the first time I'm taking a ride since the middle of May. Fortunately, I broke my foot. That took about 3.5 months, and then both legs are super weak from not walking. So took a bit of rehab there, getting back to work. A young gal at work came in with the flu really bad, coughed up over everybody, and I got pretty sick. So yeah, get out there and take this girl for fall, end of October here, November 30th, 52 degrees. So a couple things I want to test out. The new seat, decide whether I'm going to keep it on the bike or not. Cool looking seat, I really like it. Looks, sits down very, very, very low. And then I just made some air fuel adjustments I want to test out, but even more important, I've got a couple throttle mapping settings. You know, the stock setting's nice and smooth, which I want to retain and use for my rain mode, but I have found that a lot of times you whack that throttle open, I don't get full throttling. I don't twist my hand enough, so basically my changes to the throttle mapping is to try to keep the stock curves, to keep it nice and smooth, but to open up to 100% throttle a lot earlier. So let's get geared up and take her for a spin. Whew, man, glad I kind of hopefully remember how to ride this bike. What a few switches I need are. So I'm starting off in the rain mode, which is actually more aggressive than the factory road mode. This will open up the throttle sooner to 100%. I did richen up the air fuel in the area covered by the 14.5 for the closed loop, but as you'll see, it stays there
where the factory's target is for the closed loop. But slightly opening up the throttle brings you to the open loop there, and seeing just a little bit richer fuel mixture. I have to go back to my notes. I can't remember if I changed it by 3% or 4%. I'm thinking I did a 4% richening up in just that area. Before I see 13.9, 13.8 on the tip in. Now I'm getting down to 13.1, 13.2, 13. So that's where us on the tip in, rolling on that throttle. I wanted to get down to 13.2 area. So looks like that's doing good there now. So third gear, let's just roll on a little. Throttle response at the lower throttle openings, there's really not much change in what I did to the throttle there. It's more just brings in that curve a little earlier, so this is nice and smooth. Switch over to road mode. This is the more aggressive of the two. Getting down as low as 13.2, but a lot of 13.4s. So I think I hit it pretty good. I'm pretty sure I increased it by 4% on the richness. This visor a bit. Yeah, I added in some sea foam in the fuel. Bike's been sitting a while. I didn't think about adding that in earlier. Get some fresh fuel in here. Gotta get used to where to put my feet. It's been a while. So the new seat, it's a Rosa. And I explained in the previous video, the studs are not as thick as the stock ones for the mounting bolts, the mounting studs on the seat base, and a little shorter, so it limited me where I could position the seat. With the stock seat, I had it slid all the way back. I like having that little bit of a lean forward, reach for the bars. Also opens up your legs more. With the height, with the studs on this Rosa seat, basically I set the seat where I can get most, the majority of the stud through to put the nuts on. Screw it down the best. So that kind of set it towards the middle position of the factory Triumph mounting bracket, seat bracket. But where the seat studs are mounted on the seat base for this Rosa seat, even though I'm towards the middle position, the seat is farther back than the factory seat was at the full rear position. For the GoPro, I increased the feet per second that it's videoing at, so hopefully it shows the air fuel gauge better. A bit at that little bit, one step down on the feet per second from previous ride. Sometimes it wouldn't show up on the video. Sometimes it did. Oh yeah, I'm liking this more aggressive throttle setting that I've got. Try to post up a picture later towards the end of the video what my throttle settings at and how the throttle curve looks. A bit of dirt here on the road. Expected. It's been raining all week. Yesterday, today are the first days with no rain. Oh, work's really slow, so I've got a day off today. Yeah, it's Richening up down to 13.1. That's perfect, perfect, perfect. And honestly, the rest of the fuel range from the factory is pretty good. Wide open throttle. A little bit rich from the factory. I could lean it out, but those you lose wide open throttle, why bother? You know, yeah, you're going for that extra tenth of a horsepower or whatnot up on top. Yeah, but really, there's no need. Big difference you're going to feel is from the changing your electronic throttle valve settings. Yeah, I'm going to use this throttle valve setting for my road mode, and then I'll put the factory road mode as my rain mode. 100% throttle, no problem, and I wasn't cranking all the way. That was perfect. Yeah. Getting 100% throttle before for me was problematic. Sometimes I'd get it, sometimes I wouldn't. Yeah, so far I'm comfortable in the seat. You know, that lip on the back's really tiny. The stock seat gave me a bigger lip on the back to hold you in place and acceleration. So, but I'm not sliding off the back like I thought I would be. Just gotta have a good grip on the bars. Guess if you're not gripping on the bars good, you might slide off the seat. Oh, tell you what, sure is nice getting on the bike after not being able to ride all summer when the weather was nice. Missed out on all that, but it's still really nice getting on the bike. Okay, let's give it a pull. Yeah, you gotta hold on, slide off that seat. Yeah, so for short rides, I'll keep the seat on. It looks good. I don't know. make my permanent call maybe next summer when I'm doing longer rides. Right now, I'm comfortable with the seat. Factory suspension, I'm good. There's a treater. Suzuki Boulevard. Hey, he's got that old Suzuki Boulevard chopped. The tank was freshly painted. Give that bike a fresh paint job. A little nicer than what they used to be. Shaft drive. Cool old bikes. I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
It looks way better, but I got cut off on Canyon by a semi-truck, so I dropped the bike.
Oh.
Broke my hand.
Oh man, that sucks.
I didn't have this bike for 2 days.
That sucks.
Not right still, though.
But yeah, once you're cleaned up, it's looking good. I like the style.
I'm trying to go into a bobber, so.
Yeah.
Okay, have a good one.
You too. Nice, cool old bike. And guys, I love bikes. I don't care what kind of bike it is. I love them all. I've never been loyal to one brand. Had some friends that thought the only bikes I ever bought were Ducatis, because that's all I had for a long time. Playing on the racetrack and everything, I did love Ducatis, but I am always open to different bikes. Let's see. Here we go, 87 octane. Left handle, 87 octane. That's all these bikes need. Is good. So this is the stock road mode electronic throttle graph. As you can see, you hit 100% throttle at 91.7. So at this setting, a lot of times I did not get full throttle when I twisted the grip. Now this graph shows my altered electronic throttle value that I'm using in place of the road mode. This one opens fully by 75% throttle. So I definitely get 100% throttle with this, and I've kept the curve as smooth as possible, just like the stock one. In fact, I made it even smoother. Yeah, you could see on this graph here where I did richen up the fuel mixture by 5%, all the way up to about 59.5% throttle and a little over 4,400 RPM. In some areas, I richened up by 2%. The higher RPMs and higher throttle openings, I haven't touched. In fact, full throttle, you could lean it out a bit. It's a little rich up there, but we're just going to leave that as is for now.